Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? It's Mini TV here coming at you again with another podcast. Today we have, I don't know if this would count as season 2. I mean, this is like the one before season 2 starts, so maybe this is season 2, and maybe it might even be on Spotify. Who knows, guys? There's magic can happen. Obviously here with Zardoff and Dredder. I'm just getting these gamer tags and gamer names ready because this is a serious podcast now with serious professional business. So, we're just be talking about the major that's just finished. We've got the upcoming season 2 coming up, and we even have the patch today, guys. But it's not out yet because we are in Europe and not in America. But probably in like 5 hours' time, the patch will drop, and who knows? Pudge might get some buffs, and so will Techies. But we'll have to wait and see. So let's start off and let's go back like from the start of the major, shall we? The wild card. So
that's so long ago.
Yeah, it was so long ago, and I'm gonna try and remember it without looking who is in the wild card. But we'll start with the winners because obviously there was 3 winners of the wild card because Na'Vi and Beast Coast didn't make it because of COVID. The winners were Liquid, Vici Gaming, and PSG. Gambit were also there, Tier 1, and that was it. Was there 5? Or am I missing one? Gambit, Tier 1, 2 Chinese teams. Nigma! How can I forget Nigma? How can I forget Nigma? I did get all of them, though.
Well, it's easy to say that it's quite easy to forget Nigma because there's something they didn't actually do.
Oh, yeah. What did they not do? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, they didn't make it through the wild card. Oh, wow.
Well, they didn't even win a single game is what I was going for.
Okay. Yeah, well...
no, they won 1 against Vici.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did win one game. But they didn't win a series, but they did win one game.
That's it.
I mean, let's just go straight into Nigma talking about it. So obviously the results absolutely abysmal, really, considering a Nigma. However, they didn't have mind control. So I wanted to start with, is that the reason why they didn't get through the wild card? It's because they didn't have mind control. Or is there something else that, is there an elephant in the room we maybe want to talk about as well?
I mean, I would say yes, but then they also dropped Weeha to inactive, not fully kicked. I don't know, maybe they're just trying to see if it's like a Meepo patch and before they fully kick them.
Could you imagine? Just obviously to fill you all in, as Andres was saying, or Zolf was saying, Weeha kind of kicked / moved to inactive, but it kind of felt like he was kicked because in the statement as well they sort of said that he's happy, he's allowed to make any other moves in terms of like if he wants to move team or whatever, but if not he's just going to be on reserve. I'm wondering if that means they're still going to be paying him a salary. I don't know. They had that new announcement as well that the new HQ is going to be in like Dubai or something, or Abu Dhabi, so who knows. And they obviously still have yet to name their 5th, which we'll come to talk about a little bit later. So yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that RMN, obviously good player, normally plays support, was playing off lane, then he's playing support. There was a lot of trying to figure things out. I think they might have even switched the drafter as well at one point during the major, just to try anything. But it looked like, regardless of what happened, nothing really.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
There was one draft where they pick Dragon Knight, and then the other team instantly picks Timbersaw, and then they're like, okay, this is not gonna work.
Right,
and then they end up with some Grimstroke off lane.
Yeah.
And then Miracle is playing DK, which is not a Miracle hero.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah.
It's just bad drafting.
Yeah, it's really, really rough. And I mean, I think we're all kind of in consensus that let's ask the question. If they had mind control, do you think they'd make it through the wild card? Straight up. Even with him?
I don't know. I don't think so, because the other teams that made it through the wild card, except Liquid, if you look at the results, they're kind of very strong teams.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, I think the one notable thing to mention as well is that Gambit played pretty well. They obviously forced a tiebreaker with Liquid. Liquid ended up winning that and going through. I think the no-one effect really having a big impact for Gambit, AS Monaco Gambit, obviously. But obviously the Vici and PSG went through along with Liquid as well. So those are the 3 that are going through. And then obviously we moved through into the group stages. I think there was really 2 standout things in the group stages. And I'll sort of refer to our Peruvian friend down below if he wants to talk about the big thing that happened in the group stages. That's you.
Am I down below?
Yeah, you're down below in my Discord, so you can.
Oh, okay.
I know you're spamming in the group
easy,
chat.
bro. I remember I looked back at the clip because I'm pretty sure I said that Peru was gonna do. I mean, not Peru. I said Beast Coast, and also that IG were gonna win the tournament. And I looked back for the clip, and I saw you crack some laughs when I said Peru.
I mean, you're right. You're right. To be fair, you did say Thunder Predator were going to do good, which obviously they did fantastic. They came top of the group. They think they went 10-1 in all the games, or 11-1, or 10-2, I think. Top of the group, absolutely destroyed. I don't even know what to say, really. I don't think anyone was really expecting it. So, would you like to explain why you thought it? Or was it just a bit of a meme? Because I was like memeing on it.
It was a bit of a meme. It was a bit of a meme, but I think I don't know. I think for the last years, this region has been getting stronger. So it's good.
Yeah, and
I think it's still a chance to do this.
Yeah, and I think it was great to see him as well, right? It's a real bit of a lot of people back in the team, a bit of SA pride and stuff. It made a good storyline for sure. And just before we talk about the other, I'd say probably big drama point in the group stages, I want to talk to you about Beast Coast as well, because Beast Coast actually got first in SA, with Thunder Predator coming second. So the obvious question is, do you think if Beast Coast was here, would they also do better or the same as Thunder Predator?
I mean, that's so hard. I feel like when you assess a region, there's a region power ranking, but that kind of goes out of the picture when you bring international teams. All you have to say is look at Europe, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone plays each other in the DPC upper bracket. I mean, upper group, and everyone seems to be pretty strong. They take games of each other, and then they got smashed by international teams.
Yeah, I think that makes a good point. And you kind of briefly mentioned it as well about Europe, which I think, Jazz, you want to talk about, obviously, Alliance. There was only one team that was going to get knocked out from group stages, and it was Alliance who came second in the Europe DPC as well. So that, in that sense, you think maybe we're talking about obviously the Beast Coast and the Thunder Predator. You can't simply be okay, if they got first in this region, then they'd be the highest in the playoffs of the major. If they came second, they came second. Because obviously in the case of Alliance, that wasn't the case. Liquid, who were fourth in the region, came second highest. Obviously Secret was still the highest in the playoffs. Enigma came third. They didn't make it. Alliance didn't make it either. I mean, pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking about how well Thunder Predator did, if Beast Coast are meant to be the better team from SA, then Beast Coast would have been another person just to kick, somebody else's butt. So Alliance not winning a single series was a real disappointment. They just didn't seem to get it together. They hadn't played the way that they'd done before. Liquid still managed to win one series and a good few games, but we talked about that EU was the king of all kings in regards to regions, except for maybe China. And yeah, they really didn't show up. I mean, thank goodness for Secret. So let's just say that. I mean, at least we had someone in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I think if Secret didn't do well, I think the 4 slots in Europe would have been looking a little bit dicey. We're gonna get robbed of our places. And so let's talk briefly about the playoffs. Obviously, there's many games, so we won't mention everything. I think a big standout point was Fnatic. They only played literally 3 games in the whole tournament. They got 2-0'd by EG, and then they lost 2-1 straight after when they got knocked down. So they played 3 games, flew all that way, and then got immediately knocked out with 0 points and 0 prize money as well.
No, they would have played 5 games.
No, because it was a best of 3. So they played.
No, but
you're right.
They still played.
It's 5 games. No, you're right. It was 5. You're right. Sorry. Not 3, 5 games, because obviously they got 2-0 by EG and then 2-1 by OB Neon. So
2-1.
So 5 games. But 5 games. I mean, luckily Fnatic were in SEA. Could you imagine if they came from SA, for example, flew all that way? It was 40 hours travel time to play 5 games of Dota and then just immediately leave with no prize money and no DPC points. That would have been an absolute shocker.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
And I think that there's kind of a story point to bring out there. Is that, do you think some of these teams that came first in the region, that were kind of either put into the playoffs or even the group stage, without the kind of a lot of games they would get from the wild card, do you think there's almost a disadvantage of coming first in the region because you're not prepared for the games? You're not playing that many games. Secret mentioned it in the interview. They didn't play that many games because they were already so far ahead in the tournament because of the placing. Do you think that has an impact?
Possibly, but that didn't stop, Secret 2-0'd Thunder Predator, who wrecked the group stage, and, EG... What,
True.
EG top?
Yeah, EG were top.
Like,
yeah.
EG literally 2-0'd Fnatic, 2-0'd Invictus Gaming, 2-1 PSG, and then got to the finals. So yeah, okay, it might be a bit of a disadvantage, but at the same time, we saw what could have happened to Alliance getting straight through to the wild card, but then losing every single game. It's like, well, they didn't have an excuse for that. So I think it's more based.
You mean
on
Liquid, not
teams
Alliance,
anyway.
by the way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Alliance went not wild card. They got through to the group stage.
So Alliance were like put into the group stage. Liquid got through to the group stage, but and then still didn't do too.
Yeah,
great.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it might be a bit of a deal, but I think if you're a good team, then that's not gonna, because it's not like they didn't play any Dota.
No, of course not. Yeah. No, that's definitely true. I mean, I think you make a good point about really the finalists, obviously with EG and IG, which we'll definitely come to as well. They were already put into the upper bracket stage, and they got there into the final, so they didn't actually play nowhere near as many games. But let's just talk about PSG, shall we? LGD, because they were in the wild card. They actually played the most amount of games. I think there was a stat of 33 games played, so they had the most amount of games played, and they came obviously third in the end. Thunder Predator, interestingly enough, had the highest win rate, even though they came fifth, sixth, just because of how well they did in the group stage. There was a kind of a statistics kind of page, which was kind of cool, and then really, I guess another one that was kind of a bit of a letdown was VP as well. We were talking about VP and Secret doing going to be the big giants of this major. They only won one series in the playoffs, so I think they lost their first series and then beat Quincy Crew. And so it's kind of like it's so good to sort of see the major, because you get to sort of see how they interact. Because obviously VP, they only lost literally one map or one game in the whole of the CIS DPC, and yet here they were really looking pretty weak in comparison to everyone else in the major. And so I think there's some weaknesses, as we mentioned, but it's like, do you think they should really be put into the upper bracket stage? Like, do you think everyone should go through the group stage, or everyone go for the wild card? Or
I think floating these players, yes, for these kind of tournaments is so bad, especially now that no one understands the different skill levels between regions.
Yeah,
and it's been so long since teams have played each other.
Yeah,
it's so weird to me that they kind of did this format. But yeah, if I was to run the organizing, I would have one of those. I think it was TI 6 or I don't know, that TI order, a huge best of one, group stage, everyone plays each other.
Is that one the Secret went 15-0? Is that the one you're talking about? That group stage?
Yeah, one of those huge group. But yeah, I don't really agree.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in this major there was only one group stage, right? Because there was everyone either below or above them in terms of where they were placed in the playoffs. And you could always just run what TI normally does, which is two groups. So you have 2 groups of say 8. If it's a 16 team, for example, and then placing from there. I mean, I think it's weird, really, because because of how COVID is, right? Like, everyone wants to play as many games from different regions, right? Because they don't get a chance to scrim them. So you'd think the teams want to play the group stage. Like, I know both Secret and EG were like, oh, it would have been nice to play more games. And you feel like, is it because is it like a tournament issue that they wanted to do this, or is it because they wanted to find an advantage? Because if you wanted to find an advantage, I'm sure there'd be another way of doing it. Like, perhaps you get your priority in terms of the draft or the side if you wanted to rank them or who played what, who and when. I'm wondering because technically, even if you were placed straight into the playoff bracket, if you lost both playoffs if you went from the upper to then the lower, you're still not guaranteed DPC points, because that's what happened with Fnatic. So in some ways, if you're not even the best team, or if you're not in a good region, so let's say Fnatic or whatever, then you're like, I'm sure Fnatic would have loved to have had the practice and the understanding the meta in the group stage. So it's kind of a catch-22 in that, really. And I'm wondering if it's going to change in the next major. But let's talk about really the biggest probably talking point of the whole major, which was the final really. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, you'd probably be living on a rock. IG 1-3-2, which probably was a crazy, because I was watching the final and EG were dominating the first 2 games and they were dominating the third game as well. They had a Razor and it was they were like 10k gold up. The IG on game 3 had a Sven and you were like, why are they picking Sven in this meta? You thought it was going to be a clean sweep. You thought it was going to be a really boring finals. However, Emo drops a one little punctuation, little question mark, and the whole game just turns just like that. It was that one question mark, the big turning point. Sven starts one-shotting people, fly playing out of his mind. EG lose that game 3, 2-1, and then turns into a 2-2, and then in the end, the Ice Enigma in game 5 wasn't able to bring it back. And first of all, I'll talk about that game 5. Lifestealer in this patch, I don't know what EG were thinking. Zardoz, you gotta talk to me about this. What's going on?
You look at the draft, pretty much they banned like 8 carries or something because both teams last picked their carry player, and IG already went for something very unconventional.
Spectre.
True, I don't know when's the last time you've seen that. And Lifestealer Spectre is kind of a counter in some ways. Some people have different opinions on that matchup, but I guess RTZ was feeling confident about this, and there were not too many other great options for the patch, so I guess they picked that up.
I'm wondering if that was Arteezy saying it, or it was Bulba saying, "Arteezy, you're going to play Lifestealer this game." But if I was in Arteezy's shoes, and Bulba says you're going to play Game 5 Lifestealer, that you're one game away from getting your first Valve title. And I'm playing Lifestealer. I would be protesting.
But in paper, it doesn't seem that bad because it's not like you're really the win condition. You have Storm, you can test.
That is true. That is true. But after the rework from Lifestealer, so Lifestealer has always been kind of viewed as somewhat of a counter to Spectre, right? Because of his passive. But they changed his passive. The Feast no longer doing damage on how much HP they are. You got the Ghoul Frenzy, and I don't know. It just seemed it looked weird for sure. And I was really looking forward to being happy with EG, even if they 3-0'd it. It would have been RTZ's first major win. It was really setting up to be good. And then however, the website "When Did EG Throw Last" is now back in business thanks to that final. So there's that. But madness. Any other thoughts?
Who would you have liked to have taken then? You're talking about how Lifestealer would have been. It was a terrible pick. Who would you?
I think Terrorblade was open, if I remember correctly. I don't think he was banned. You're right. There was a lot of carries banned, but I'm just thinking if I'm a carry,
yeah, he was available.
If I'm a carry, I'm not playing Lifestealer if it's the final game, and I'm this is it. They've already lost 2 games on the bout. They must have been so cocky when they picked a faceless Void in game 2. They're laughing to themselves. You see it on stream. Yeah. They're laughing. They're why are they playing faceless Void? We're gonna win this game, win more game, and then we're gonna 3-0 IG, and we're gonna be seen as the best team in the world.
I think you're kind of forgetting how the last game played out.
It was close.
GG definitely had a very strong timing.
True.
And their draft was kind of looking to, they're going to hit this timing, and then they just kind of dropped a few fights. They were fighting without Enigma a few times. Then Enigma misses a few back holes. Avid feeds once or twice because he's already tilted for his 5th game in a row.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So Abed played Storm Spirit 5 games, every single game. What?
Every time it gets delayed in the draft because they're losing confidence in it.
And it's, I don't know, is there must be there's something to talk about really where first 2 games you win with Storm, you're gonna carry on doing it if it's winning. But game 3 you lose, game 4 you try it again, game 5 I don't know, there must come a time where you're yeah, guys, let's just pick something different.
Game 3 I feel like I haven't definitely through that game, so that game was so in the bag. Nobody would expect that game to be over. So I guess if you're EG, you're okay, guys, let's just kind of do the same thing. I'm gonna play Storm again, and I'm not gonna throw this time. I promise. So that's why they pick it again, game 4, and then at game 5, I feel like you don't really have enough room to adapt. and you feel like, okay, I've already won 2 games, and it should have been 3 games. So I don't want to try something new in game 5, and lose to it.
I mean, honestly, I think this is what kind of makes Dota great, though, because it's like it must have been heart-wrenching for EG. They're cruising the first 2 games. They're like, oh yeah, it's an easy win, and then they lose game 3. They're like, okay, guys, focus up. Game 4 they lose as well, and you're like, guys, what's happening? Game 5 you pick love still. You think, yeah, this is now the time.
It's one of those things that you hate to see, but you
love to see. Yeah,
it's great, Dota. Dota. It's so great, but you also feel like, oh, EG.
Come on, guys.
You could have just easily, well, not easily won all 3 games, but there was definitely an opportunity by far. And then they still had to play another 2 games, and then they ended up losing. You're just like, oh.
And they played so well as well. Like that game, even I think it was at game 4 as well when they had the Alchemist. Like just some of the latest stuff. Well, I mean, right, okay. There's a few throws. There was a few bad things, but you've got to judge a team on their best performances, not on their worst. Like some of the performances they played were so well. Like the way I remember, I think it was game 4 when they had Artesia Alchemist and they aggressive tri lane with the Tusk. Like they got the tower at 7-8 minutes, which was one of the records with an aggressive tri lane with an Alchemist. Everything they was doing, BSJ made a massive analysis of it and how well I thought EG played. And it's to do that and to then go back. I mean, does it? I'm wondering, does this almost crushing defeat? Is it a crushing defeat, or is it actually we came second, we played well? How do you kind of almost trying to verbalize it to yourself? How do you take it after a game like that? I don't know.
Yeah, just crushing defeat. There's no way they're happy, especially with how they went. If it was all of them close game nail biters, no, but I feel like they definitely feel like they threw that lead away.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rough.
Well, we'll have to see, obviously, with the next season coming out, if we'll make an impact or affect them in the DPC. Because obviously, the last NA it was kind of close, but there was a lot of talk about maybe it was because EG weren't prepared, they weren't ready. Whereas I'd say they are kind of prepared now. That they played the major, they played a lot more games now, so we'll have to sort of see. But congratulations to IG winning 3-2. So just quickly, we'll kind of have a look at the upcoming Season 2, obviously mainly looking at EU. So in terms of the new teams come up in the upper division, so it's the same teams as last time except for Viking and High Coast that got relegated. And we're going to be having Brame, which is the Greek Spartans crew. They showed a lot of promise, actually. And as well as the Hellbear Smashers as well, which is Misery and Aces stack. And then for the lower division team, same as last time, but with Viking and High Coast, obviously the swap. But then Ghost Frogs as well, which was one of the open qualifier teams, which had all of the Finland players, which I think was Pexu's team. But I looked on Liquid, and it looked like there's a complete change of squad, actually. And some of Creep Wave's players have kind of merged with Ghost Frogs. There's a few big kind of swaps were there. But most importantly, Zardoff, we have Team Bald Reborn. Gork's team, the streamer team, Excalibur and Gork and Pablo and all that lot, which I'm actually really looking forward to. If they're able to stream their lower division games, I think that would be awesome and really, really cool, and I would definitely watch it if they do. But we'll have to see how they actually do against kind of less meme kind of teams. But they're in, they're in for the lower division. They're still TI regional qualifiers, I guess. I was watching an interview with Keizu who was talking about obviously they can't get through the DPC points, but they can get through the regional qualifiers. And I think most teams in the lower division are probably looking at that same idea as well. Not for DPC, but just to kind of practice and get ready for TI. But have you got any thoughts for the second season, either up or lower? Hopes, dreams, wishes?
Europe, generally.
Yeah.
Europe, I guess it's going to be pretty much the same, to be honest. Except,
you think so?
I guess OG and Nigma are a bit of a question mark.
Yeah, because their rosters are not filled in. I mean, I'm pretty sure at this moment OG are getting Anna, right? That's pretty much guaranteed. As for Nigma's 5th, I'm not sure. Obviously, there's Samal in the wings. Maybe.
Do you reckon that they'll be going Miracle as carry still, but
yeah,
he playing the mid, or do you think they're going to find another mid? If they do bring in Samal, does he play mid or does he play carry?
Yeah, I mean he's been playing loads of carry. The last time we saw him, he was playing carry for OG, right? I mean, so yeah, it's a good question.
Started originally.
Yeah, it's
a short stay at the no one stack.
Oh yeah, the off lane, the off lane,
or whatever.
Oh yeah, he did play mid actually, didn't he, for that one stack? And well, no one was playing off lane.
I remember I saw he said I was playing mid, and it's so easy for him because the side lanes were just speaking Russian between them, so he didn't.
He just played mid. But I don't know. I think like if we were talking about Nigma, right? I think it's the reason why. I think it's pretty fair to say that the reason why Miracle was playing mid, right, is because they didn't trust Weeha. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy, but that literally was the reason. If they had the king back to mid, I think Miracle's staying in that side lane. He's like, I trust Samao, to take the mid lane. Like, I will have to wait and see. But I really hope Samao goes to Nigma, and I'm pretty sure Anna's already coming to OG. So with that being said, like, who is making it in the top 4 for this season? I think Secret is pretty much a lock. But Alliance, seeing as they didn't do great in the major, and Liquid, like, they did all right, but they wasn't the most kind of concerned, really. Like, what are we thinking? Like,
that would be boring. I'd say it's gonna be a repeat, to be honest.
You really think it's gonna be a repeat with Anna coming back?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as well, maybe I'm just thinking too hard on the major that's just happened, but Alliance, I just felt like really struggled a bit, and I just wonder if that's going to have a knock-on effect in this season too. Like, will they struggle a bit more? I mean, I don't know much about Hellbear Smashers of Brain, if they're just going to be like another bottom 2 from where they've come from.
Yeah.
But I could see OG and maybe Nigma taking Alliance's place, or maybe because everyone is starting to get on Liquid's cheese fest, the Liquid don't have as good.
It's going to be Alliance instead.
They're starting
with the other 2.
There'll be a new patch.
That's true. New patch today. Yeah,
the other thing is true. With the new patch, we don't know if it's a Meepo patch. Then
they just bring him back Weeha, just say, sorry, Samao, you're benched. Or they could run like the first 6-man squad. So if Meepo's good, they just like sub in Samao for a game against Secret or something like that. And then like for a game against, Hellburst Smashers are like, go on Weeha, you can play some Meepo, like you can play for this game, like, like some of the scrubby teams, like, Samao ain't got time for that, like, rest his fingers or something. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. And obviously the games start next week, guys. The 12th. So that I think is the Tuesday, Tuesday the 12th or Tuesday the 13th. But it's Tuesday.
I think it's Monday.
No, well, Monday is the lower division, but Tuesday is the upper division game starting.
Right. Sorry, when you said the 12th, that's fine.
Yeah. So, just the last thing we can kind of mention, I guess, is the patch discussions, which should be hitting in probably the next hour or 2. Anime hero coming from the new hero in today, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, maybe that teleporting
Fimrin or whatever. Yeah, Fimrin. Yeah, there's Selemane. There's
I don't think it would be an anime character.
No, I don't think so as well. Let's be real. Like, I mean, they've had this patch. Well, they've been like talking about heroes for ages, right? I don't think it's going to be from this anime. It's got to be probably like someone from either like the artifact or something else in the lore, Solar Card, something like that, maybe. I mean, you got any hopes?
You say that, but it's not like an anime is done over a month. Like, the anime would have been planned for a long time.
Yeah, but it's Netflix. Like, Valve ain't gonna Valve literally took 10 years to make their first player introductions and playthrough and stuff. Like, they're not gonna have that kind of foresight.
That wasn't even Valve, was it?
Yeah, it was mainly Sir Action Slacks. Yeah, the community like doing it mainly. Yeah, Valve ain't got that foresight to be like, oh yeah, let's bring. I mean, do you have any hopes for like? I just love when things are broken and like for the first week, like pubs are just like in chaos because everything's broken. No one knows what they're doing. I really hope. I mean, I was going to say I really hope Puck doesn't get nerfed, but I'm no longer playing mid. I'm going to be playing carry, so I don't care if Puck gets nerfed, to be honest. So I hope Anti-Mage gets buffed, actually. Then I can play it, and Zardoff doesn't have to flame every time I pick Anti-Mage. So,
yeah.
That's my hope.
So, map changes, economy changes. Yeah, it's kind of good.
Yeah.
And 3 bans in first phase. That's the best.
Oh, in competitive, you mean?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could see that actually. 2 bans is they might switch up the draft actually. Ice Rock has definitely kind of tinkered with it a few times. Any thoughts, Jazz? You're expecting?
Yeah, techies. Definitely.
Techies just
no, I don't know really. I think obviously there's a lot of heroes they were talking about when IRG picked Faceless Void. They were just trolling, saying that they're just picking him to see how bad to show how bad he is, so he gets buffed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think like where there's been a lot of meta for carry heroes. I'm wondering if they're going to mix that up a little bit as well. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the new hero is carry.
You just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had a carry hero really. Like we've had like mids and supports.
What was the last?
Well, the last
the squirrel, weren't it?
Yeah, that's like a support / mid, right? It was mid at the start.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're liquid, then I guess Mars is your last release.
Yeah,
Like...
that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's another point as well, isn't it? Isn't Hoodwink going to be in the competitive?
Yeah, it will be.
Next season,
You'd expect so.
So Hoodwink could. You never know.
I mean,
Hoodwink
I think
could
she
be...
needs buffs though to actually be played. I don't know, like
really.
I really
like,
what do you mean? No one plays her in like pubs, man. Like I think
that's because she's not in competitive. I'm sure if they add it as she is now into the competitive, like she's gonna be broken.
No way. I'm saying no. Like if that happens and she's not touched,
they're gonna nerf her. They're gonna nerf her, and then they're gonna do like a void spirit. They're gonna nerf him, and then they're gonna add Aghanim's again, and then she's gonna be broken.
We'll see next week, and then you can watch this VOD in the future and be like, Jake, I told you so.
Exactly.
Like, I told you she was going to be broken. Right, that's gonna be probably wrapping up. We should have to have a podcast for next week, and that will be the first week of the EU DPC. I've kind of missed you guys. I've missed the DPC season, but a regular scheduled games every week. It's my new sport.
Yeah. So I haven't. No.
I haven't. Okay. Well.
You haven't missed
it, right? Okay. Right. I hope to see you all next week, and ta-ra. Till next time, guys, and I hope to see you all next week.
All right.
And until then, keep running and grinding. Peace.